couple of things that I need to cover. A patch. Well, honestly, like maybe a couple of days ago, or maybe like a week ago, where they across the board nerfed everyone. And it seems that they've seen the reception for the season 3 patch and said, "Yeah, that was ass. We're not going to continue that direction," because they know that we literally all are about to quit. I mean, I did quit. Like, keep in mind, that last video release on the game, I actually quit. Like, I genuinely was just not gonna play the game anymore. I was gonna come back for Kunimitsu because that's my girl from 7. But other than that, I was literally gonna put the game down after like learning her moves and playing rank. Which means when they release Bob and they release Bob and then they release fucking June, like the kangaroo, right? And then there's season 4, it's gonna have no players because all the people making content for the game were gonna slowly phase it out, and then the people who were watching that content was gonna stop. So the people, like, it was going to cause a chain reaction where everyone left. The content creators can't make content because they don't get any views, because the people who would want to watch it, or the player base who would want to play the game, don't want to play the game. I genuinely quit the game. It's not an over-exaggeration. It's not me being hyperbolic. I genuinely quit the game. I was going to play Guilty Gear. And I'm probably still going to play Guilty Gear. Like, nothing's really gonna change about it. And like, it's like, oh, who the fuck are you? Like, he doesn't think about like I'm intelligent. Who are you? It doesn't. Your opinion doesn't matter. Like, you're some dude who uploads videos for his friends. Like, yeah, that's true. But I'm also just a regular person. So if regular people have the sentiments of I'm not gonna play your game, it's not fun, then you have a problem. Because sure, you can have like a think about like Dead by Daylight. Think about the learning curve of that game. Tekken and Dead by Daylight have similar like hard learning curves, where you have to want to self-improve by a massive amount, and you have to work for it, right? The difference is Tekken doesn't normally bleed you dry and constantly have you buy new stuff, right? You can say like, oh, new characters, sure. But like at the end of the day, you don't have to buy those new characters to enjoy the game, right? Like there isn't like a power creep scenario where you can't engage with someone because you aren't on a certain character. That's normally not how it works, right? Sometimes there's fucking broken shit, yes, but for the most part, that's not how it works. So when you're playing Tekken and everything's so out of whack, so out of tune that it's unenjoyable to play, then you have a problem, right? Then you have a massive problem. Because this game is already not so casual friendly. This game is also very demanding from its player base. This game can also be frustrating if you're losing and you don't know why, or you can't seem to get it together, right? But it's an eternal battle, right? You're putting it on yourself. That's how it works. And then you put in bullshit in an eternal battle, now it's no longer our fault, it's yours. Because as the game creators, you decided you wanted to put in something that was not good at all. Like it was... Hold on. Alright, there we go. It's not good for the player base. Like, I can go on a long tirade about how the decision to make everything hyper-aggressive and super easy for everyone literally ruins the bare fundamentals of their game. Not like, oh, this is normally supposed to do this because for balance reasons. It's like the fundamental, like, feeling you get when playing the game is ruined because of the fact that they try to make everything easy. You want people to want to be able to be a pro. Well, the only reason you won't ever be a fucking pro is if you think that's cool. You would only think it's cool if you recognize how difficult it is. You can only recognize how difficult it is if it's fucking difficult. and their attempt to make everything easier ruins the entire feeling of satisfaction you get from playing the fucking game and getting better. They ruined it. That no more need to be said. That's the exact sentence that describes all of it. They're going, at this moment, we're presuming, to make changes to nerf everything down and really cleanse the game of a bunch of bullshit. And what I mean by that is there are certain moves that they've changed. Like back 2-2, for example, on Yoshi. In the patch notes, back 2-2, no longer a launcher. And when you do it, the heat dash, alright, your plus, but you only get like a follow up. 52 damage. So you don't get access to a launcher at 14 frames in Yoshimitsu anymore from back 2-2. You just get a knockdown. Did I think this was bullshit? No. You're still in the same scenario if you get hit by this, right? If you're getting hit by it before. It's purely if he's in heat, you use something minus 14, he blocks it, he does this. Or he does this, like delays it, right? That's the scenario you're in. It's been fucking changed, sadly, to where it doesn't give you a launcher, it gives you a knockdown. I'm saying sadly because I didn't think this needed to be changed at all. Like, at all. Like keep in mind, I genuinely think that this on Yoshi was not the problem child. That was not the problem child. I don't understand. Truthfully, I don't understand. And then they also made it that when you're in heats, this used to be a launcher. Now it's a knockdown. Why? And like, here's the thing. My complaints is not that they're nerfing everything. Everything needs to be nerfed. Objectively, everything needs to be brought down to a more sustainable low level, right? And in the process of doing that, let's say you're targeting heat-based moves, which we are, you're going to make moves that were cool before not cool in the attempt to bring them down so you can satisfy the baseline of this game isn't too wonky. And then you'll tune things up later. That's just game balance. I understand that. I truly do. And I encourage the devs to keep slowly nerfing and making the right decisions on what to nerf, as far as like, hey, you shouldn't get rewarded from this without having to put any risk in. Hey, the heat system's out of whack, we should nerf it like we just did. Hey, maybe we shouldn't have this much pushback on these sets of moves. Hey, maybe we should bring low parrying back. Hey, we should bring back dashes back. Like, that sort of stuff. That sort of stuff needs to be worked on in those patches and groups so we get a game environment where it's like, okay, this is a good baseline. We can sidestep, we can backdash. Heat isn't crazy. There's no crazy heat properties, right? Certain moves got like adjusted to be more in line with like traditional values. Cool. Now we can start ramping things back up. Now we can start buffing characters again. Now we can start, this situation doesn't make sense because of the changes we made earlier, so we're making it different to provide good value with appropriate risk that also looks satisfying. Because imagine my fucking surprise when they said, hey, this, 30 frame move from Yoshimitsu that you never use, that was only a launcher in heat. Only a launcher in heat, mind you. Now only knocks down. It only knocks down. Right? It's a hefty hit. Don't get me wrong, it's a hefty hit. but you're no longer getting launched for crouching against Yoshimitsu. You take... How much damage is that? That's 28 damage. You take 28 damage on a knockdown with no follow-up. That move's dead. That move is dead. And don't get me wrong, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I acknowledge that there's a lot of people in the Discord for the suggestions asking for buffs. I acknowledge that we need to continue to nerf and reduce the power level so this game feels more interactive and fun to play. I acknowledge that. I understand that they want to get rid of situations where you can be launched by a heat engager and fucking die. Alright, like, you know what I mean? I get that. So it seems like 14 frame move, gotta go. Right? Okay, cool. If we're saying all fast heat engagers, like Delusion's back to 3, like, yeah, you can't get launched off that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not allowed. It's too fast. Cool. So there's no 14 frame launchers anymore, no 13 frame launchers anymore. Got it. Cool. That's where our mind's at. If you want to launch somebody with a heat engager, it gotta be at the 15 mark or above. Understood. That's we're realigning with classic Tekken values. Because in previous Tekkens, the benchmark for being launched was this move is 15 frames or more, you're negative 15 or more. Right? Cool. Why in the fuck did we nerf this move? It's 13. Listen, it's 30 frames. It was 30 frames. You could sidestep it. You could jab him out of it. Like, and there were so many things you could do. If it's like, oh, 2+, no, that's not true. You can still jab him out of it no matter what. If I set Devil Jin to punish with, let's say, just a jab, right? I'm gonna have him do it after 2. So, interrupts me, right? Interrupts me. Fair enough. What if he gets hit? Let's see. Plus 18, it's a launcher. Because he got hit with this. Right? Now, what if, instead of trying to jab afterwards, when he got hit, he realized, okay, I crouch. Right. It doesn't launch. It doesn't launch no matter what. What about on counter hit? What about player counter hit? So we're gonna have him standing, player counter hits. So on counter hit, it's still a launcher. It's just no longer a natural hit launcher, and that's the difference. Where the move still launches if it's a counter hit, right? Launches. It's just no longer a natural hit launcher. So if that's the case, and I have to counter hit, right? Hold on, let me make it stop walking. Why does this interaction not fucking work? Why does it not work? He tried to press and he got hit. What if I changed the punishment to a recording of me trying to do 1-1-2? And keep in mind, my criticism isn't that like they're doing a bad thing. My criticism is when we're done with this bad thing, we have to reevaluate. I just don't understand. I just don't understand the direction of like what moves need to be adjusted or not, right? Because this is again a 30 frame natural hit launcher only in heat, So it's a super slow, only in heat, and also from a stance. and it's sidesteppable, like heavily sidesteppable. So it's one of those weird options of like you could have hit Dragonfly 4, but they didn't because if you do Dragonfly 4, it's still a launcher. Why did they not touch it? I don't know. That one tracks to a side. Like, are they concerned about killing a character? Is that their concern? About like, hey, if we nerf this, Yoshi won't have anything. And I question if that's the case because Harong's Flappy Cakes got touched, so they're clearly not afraid to touch like the strongest parts of people's kits, right? There's tons of stuff from everyone who got touched. All right. All right, so it's still a counter hit launcher if they try to press into it. But like, here's the deal. Here's the deal. This almost never happens. And if this ever happens, and you press into that scenario, you're a dumbass. So like, this is what I mean. Like, when I heard Yoshi got nerfed, I was like, okay, everyone's getting nerfed. It makes sense. Obviously, what did they change about him? Oh yeah, they're getting rid of heat moves. Oh, okay, yeah. They're making like heat launchers, heat dash launchers, not a thing. Cool. Yeah, heat dash launchers are gone on certain moves, like back to 2. Back to 2? Why? What did like? I get there's other moves on other characters. There is like, oh, this move in particular is a demon move. It has tracking to both sides, or tracking to one side heavily. It is a heat engager, obviously, so it heals. You have a heat dash launcher from it, like high coverage options. Yoshi is the opposite of high coverage. So I was like, I feel like Yoshi was in a good place. Everyone thought Yoshi was in a decent place, and they just needed to plus or minus some stuff. But now it seems like they made a system change. It's a system change almost to realign back to older Tekken. And again, that's a good thing, and I'm not going to shit on them for that. I just don't understand what was Dragonfly 1 a move people were struggling with? Was Dragonfly 1 a move that people were like dying to all the time? Like, wasn't it risky enough to already go for the slowest move in the kits? And you'd probably be like, no, because he has like Dragonfly 4, which makes you afraid to step to a side and makes you afraid to press, makes you afraid to duck, right? And you also had like all these other moves. But like, isn't Dragonfly also fuzzyable? Like, there's Yoshi was one of the characters where, like, his stances didn't feel out of place. Because his stances were designed from an era of designers who knew how to make stances, who knew how to manage stances. And they just brought all over Yoshi stuff and then like gave him some stuff for the neutral. Because he had a bunch of stance stuff already from the past games, and the game devs for Tekken 8 at the beginning were giving people stuff that they didn't have. So we're just dealing with, so like we literally just had like base Yoshi with all the stances, and then they added stuff for the neutral. While everybody else didn't really have that many stances, so they gave them stances, but they already had stuff for the neutral. They just kind of amped those a little bit. Like it's one of those things where I can conceptually be like, yeah, the Heat version of Dragonfly 1, plus on block with pushback. Alright, cool. That's good, obviously. It's slow and it's sidesteppable. So if I were to make this step sidewalk to the right, I mean Heat, I do it on block, it misses. if I make it a sidewalk to the left. And it also like increased the cost for the move too, so you can't do it again. Like the cost, they basically made a lot of the heat moves bad. That's what they did. They made if heat is the amped state that the character is supposed to be in, where they're stronger, they're just objectively stronger. They made all the heat moves feel ass. They made them all feel ass because now, if I do a heat move and I'm wrong, my heat's gone. My heat's gone. Right, Yoshi with this move is lucky because he can get out couple. Right, he can get off two. But the amount of heat that things consume, on top of their weird effects now, like I just seen Kavis' video where Harong in the neutral still gets a launching flappy kick, but if he's in heat, it's only a knockdown. It's one of those things where it's like they went to the code, right? They went through the long list of text that is the Bible of this game, and they went to the section of code for heat on every single character, and then went, this move is this fast, yeah. Results, knockdown effect. But they didn't conceptually link that back to the move itself. That's pretty much exactly what they did. Where they went to the code, found a section that specifically states is about heat, and changed the heat effect, but not the actual move itself. Like they changed the if in heat state, you know. Like if state equals heat, XYZ move results in knockdown and does this amount of damage, blah blah blah. Right? So I'm kind of confused, but I also understand. I understand the direction they're headed, in the sense of if this is the type of patch they're going to keep doing, they're going to keep giving us patches where they reduce character power, they're aligning things to more logical standpoints, they bring back older mechanics like hopefully backdashing. Bro, you know how bad it is to like try to leave a scenario. I can't create backdash. I haven't learned yet. To try to leave a scenario by backdashing normally, or like however the fuck you Korean backdash, and then you're just getting vacuumed in by moves are just pulling you and pulling you and pulling you and pulling you, and you can't leave. It's like, bro, I know you're gonna swing wildly. I'm trying to make you whiff so I can launch you, but I can't. Like I actually have to learn Korean backdash if I want to make you like whiff. Like there's no just backing away from someone normally. But they're probably not gonna bring that back, to be honest. I think they need to make it where if you Korean backdash, you can escape some things. But if you don't, then you're still stuck in the same vortex. Because that means anyone past below a certain point on the rank ladder is just going to get sucked into the vortex, and anyone above is going to be able to escape the vortex. And it's like a skill thing. So, and that's really the main proponent of this game, where it's like they wanted it to be, hey, there's bullshit in this game, but if I'm aware of it and I play it correctly, that bullshit doesn't matter. That's the problem. Like the bullshit just mattered too much. It was running the game. And speaking of bullshit, running the game and honestly questionable decisions on the direction of said game, we have Double Gen, which as a character I do enjoy. What skin do I want right now? Like, the Double Gen is a character that I enjoy playing. Double Gen Yoshimitsu. And there are two characters that when they brought it to this game, the devs didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Right? So when you're playing this, and you're having to play Double Gen, a character where they removed most of his poking, and they left you with slow moves They left you with stubby range at times. What did they do? What was their game plan? They decided for some reason knockdown, not launcher, knockdown. Why? 14 frames. 14 frame move, no launcher. Because should not be allowed to launch people uh, below 15 frames. And the thing is, I did not mind that people were getting launchers from their heat dashes. I didn't. I truthfully didn't. I just, my opinion was that launchers from heat dashes were cool because as a concept, I'm gonna expend this resource, which should be used for maintaining an amp state for guaranteed damage, right? Or I'm gonna punish you with a combo by expending this resource completely. And it felt like if you played optimized or you were really aware of your opponent, you could genuinely actually just murder them. Which I guess is part of the issue that people were talking about, where they just feel like it's steamrolling. Sure, but I did like heat dashes because the general rule, like the way I view games, is that if you are playing a game and you don't feel like you're breaking the game's rules or cheat coding, then your character's not fun. At least that's how I view it. Where if it feels like, oh, this is really strong, but not in the sense of like, oh, it's oppressive. They feel like they can't press anything, or they feel like if they do something, they'll die. Like it's hard to describe. Like perfect example for me is Yoshimitsu Flash, where the result is that people feel like they can't do anything because they're scared of Flash. But that's not why I like it. I like Flash because it's it's a very low frame count launcher. But it has the caveat of being defensive. You can't offensively flash someone unless you do a read, in which case it still puts your life in danger on both times, offensively and defensively. Like you would have to bait someone into pressing and then flash to do it offensively. Like it requires brain power, right? That to me is a move that I think is really cool. There's a bunch of like launching parries that feel like kind of cheesy, like, oh, you just press a button when you think I'm going to attack, and if it's the right parry for the right move, right? Like I guess a good example is like if you could in a string, let's say someone does like a jab and like a elbow during a string, and you have a parry that works on elbows, you can parry that string because you know you can parry the string. You've done the research, you've practiced it, you have the reactions, you parry the string, and if that thing is a launcher, if your parry is a launcher, then it feels even stronger. Like that's belligerent. But like just having the ability to parry through a string so they can't use that move at all is inherently rewarding you for labbing. The same way, like if you're facing Alyssa on Yoshimitsu, like if they do a certain chainsaw move, it's -8. You can flash them, and then you get a free combo. Like it's the rewarding for the like research and rewarding for paying attention and thinking outside the box. And it's one of those things where I just don't get it. On like if they truly have problems with heat and they want heat to be like fixed down, the route objectively is to nerf things. But I guess they're trying to appease everyone because they're not removing heat. So they're gonna go, hey, we're just gonna nerf all the heat down so that it's not as strong, so people stop bitching about it. Because to be honest, this not launching, or wrong one, right? This not launching is it's pretty rough. It's rough for Devil Jin. It's rough. Devil Jin is obviously the weakest character, but in a game with everyone strong, it doesn't really mean much. But like, all he had was like heat bullshit. So like, you were already like basically chipping along. Now you're doing even more so. And then they made it that that consumes all your heat. If you do one hell sweep, one heat infused hell sweep, that's the rest of your heat. And it's like for 50 damage. Be like, okay, what if like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So you have to hit heating gauges now. Like you have to hit heating gauges. You hit a heating gauger, then you get one good mix after a heating gauger. And if it's a heat infused move, you only get to use one of them. There's only one mix. Heating gauger, hell sweep, and his thing. If you hell sweep, hold on. If you hell sweep, right, and it's blocked, not only is your heat gone, you die. You die. And then he continues to fall off when you're getting combo. So if I can do stand block and then activate heat. So see how like when you get up, your heat continues. But like you still lose heat progress while in the air. Like it's hard to see, but there's still chunks like being taken off. There's just diminishing return. There's just diminishing returns. All right, enough combo. No combo. So like, they nerfed his heat hell sweep. It was like okay. They nerfed it, so it takes a bunch of fucking heat. So if you do the heat combo, if you don't mess up the heat combo, 50 damage. If you do the regular launcher, 45. You get 5 extra damage, but you lose all of your heat, all of it. You like if there's a difference of 5 damage, you might as well not even use the heat variant. And this is what I mean as far as like direction, because honestly, if this is what it means, I'm not gonna use the heat version. In fact, it would be worse to use the heat version of the move because I don't have my heat. And 2, if I'm activating my heat to use the heat version of the launcher, I essentially don't have my safe panic button, which they're probably gonna touch. Like my idea is that if you had a heat launcher, a heat dash launcher, when you heat dash with it, it should be fucking -2. It should just be -2, but still leave me the 14 frame heat dash launchers. Should it be anything lower than 14 frames? No. Dragging off having a 12 frame heat dash launcher is criminal. Just either make the move slower or make it a knockdown. Like, stuff like that was outrageous. But for like Diligence back to 3, nah. Kuma having a 13 frame or Clive having a 13 frame heat dash launcher is crazy. Or I don't think it was a launcher, I think it was a knockdown. Can't remember. But like the point is, if it was like 13, 12 frames, that's too fast. If it's 14, it's still incredibly fast. Yes. But make it either make it unsafe to dash with. Like I feel like the problem truthfully is that the creators of the games were behaving like idiots when they made it because they thought so linearly, like, oh, it's a heat move, you're dashing with the heat move. Clearly it's an amped move that you're burning your resource for, it has to be safe. No, why? Why does it have to be safe? Why does it have to be plus? If they would have made it that, hey, instead of thinking we're burning a resource for this, we should be like generically safe, and with the other direction of, oh, we're burning a resource for this, that means we can amp its power, but that doesn't mean it has to be safe. If they made all the heat dash launchers -12, -13, -14, hell, even -15, I doubt we would be bitching. I doubt. You'd be like, oh, bro, he hit me with a heat dash launcher. Did you block? No? Well, if you blocked, you would have punished him and you would have got a combo. You would have did your heat dash launcher. So now it's not, oh, spam back 3s, right? Because it's a backswing blow. Because, like, here's the thing. This on heat dash doesn't launch. Knocked out. This is perfectly fine. It's a backswing blow, so the natural state of the move is to be a majorly evasive, and then when you are not doing the heat dash variant, when the person's just blocking it normally, it's -17. What move is -20? There's a move that's like -20. I think it's this one, -25. So like this move here. Oh, I think it depends on distance. Okay. Like this move here is always launch punishable unless you heat dash it, but it's a backswing blow. So like it's incredibly frustrating to get hit with that a couple times. Then the guy does this, and you know you could launch that normally, but you can't because he's doing a heat dash. Fucking change it. Just change it. Just make it, instead of it being like fucking plus on block in your face, which is still ridiculous, right? In fact, that's also something. It feels like the creators of the game don't know what the fuck they're doing, because if I was the creator of this game and I was the one in charge of balance and I was the one who had to look at this, I go, oh, heat dash. That makes the move like safe, right? So you're like -2, -4, gives up your turn. No, you're plus. Why? That doesn't even sound right. That doesn't even sound fucking right. That doesn't even sound right. That doesn't sound right. Like that's the point, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. That it doesn't even sound right. If you've been a dev of Tekken, and you've seen how this game has functioned, how there's risk reward, how there's how there's pros and cons. This move is quick as fuck. It covers to your right side. It's a high. It's constant rock paper scissors on every single move, on every single fucking angle, and that's just how the game functions. That's how the game has always functioned. And some dumbass who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing came in, said, "Oh, let's give them a resource like a 2D fighter, right? Cool. And when you pop that resource to be stronger, it modifies moves. You're cooking." Cooking, that sounds nice. We got some cool particle effects. Everything's okay so far. Yeah, if you get hit by certain moves, it brings you into your amped state. So rewarding you, you're cooking. It's gonna be a crazy sound effect. You're cooking. Great. Beautiful. Then that motherfucker said, if you hold forward on those same moves, first of all, having moves enter you into your amp state is already good. Having the amp state increase the potency and change properties of moves is already good. And then that person at the table raised their fucking hand and said, "Oh, if you hold forward after you do another heat engager, even on block, you get a dash animation." And let's pull it back. Let's say the first thing they said was, "Oh, and if you do a heat engager move and you get the hit and you hold forward, you get a launcher." And everyone around the table went, "Not all moves, right?" He's like, "Yeah, okay. We can't have all of them be launchers, because that'd be broken. We'll have some of them be launchers," and it ended up being most of them. So some of the moves are launchers, some of the moves aren't. Cool. You gotta learn which ones aren't. Gotta be able to apply in the situations. Gotta know the combos for it. Great. Oh, so what happens when that move gets blocked? Oh, well, it consumes the rest of your resource when you dash regardless. So we should probably make it safe. Make that shit plus 5. So not only did this person hit you with an unavoidable attack that was plus on block in the stance, and it's not your turn, so you can't press, but you also can't step because they nerfed that shit, so you're standing still. Then they do another option that's plus on block out of their fucking stance, and you also can't press because they nerfed sidestepping, and it's not your turn. And then he does a heat engager, holds forward, and regardless of if you pressed or if you didn't, it's still not your fucking turn. It's still not your turn. And that's the problem. Like all of this could have been avoided if that dickhead in the office didn't form his mouth together and go, "We should make it safe on block," or not even safe on block. We should make it plus on block, because the scenario, the problem is that we've been dealing with this shit for basically a year, two years. We've been dealing with this shit for 2 years. For 2 years, we've been dealing with this. Where we go into stance, plus on go into stance, right? Plus on block, you can't press. Plus on block option into stance. Into plus on block into neutral. Still have to turn. Heat dash move. I was plus 4 times in a row. You got quizzed 4 times in a row. And none of those times you had the ability, from the moment I did. Let's say it's close out. Let's say I do this. I'm plus 1. Not too bad. You're a little scared. I do it you're a little scared, right? Let's say you're playing hesitant, right? And I hit this move on you. I'm plus 1. I have the advantage. You know I have the advantage. You're not gonna press, and you just this is one of the moments of yeah, he could have done something. He could have tried. Yeah, sure. Or you can get fucking blown up. But he could die, so he's not gonna press. So I do this, then I do this because I know he's not gonna press. I'm plus 11. And then for plus 11, I do a plus 8 move that forces crouch. You know that I'm plus 8. So, like, you know that I'm plus here, you're not going to press. You know I'm plus here, you're not going to press. Right? Because there's so many options. And then I go in and I do another move that's plus and also forces you crouch, and there's nothing you can do. You're in crouch. All your options are like 1 frame slower, 2 frames slow. You can't do anything. So you can't do anything, right? Into a plus frame move. In which case, it's still my turn and it also forces you crouch. And then from that, since I'm plus 3, I do 442, Demon Paw 15 frames, which is a 12 frame fucking launcher because I'm plus 3. And you still cannot do anything except for jab, which can get blown up by almost everything. Like, let's say you do a down forward 1. Oh yeah, it has to be like a crouch. It has to be a crouch move because you're fourth crouch. Yeah. I just don't have the execution for it right now. There we go. I fucked it up. Of course. I think I found the one fucking move that trades. And listen, there's in theory things you can do. Oh, I'm recording it. No, that's too fast. Oh yeah, we're just gonna do launcher. Okay, that's also 14 frames, so I'm just gonna lose that interaction. That was just such a weird fucking character, bruh. Where he doesn't really. Wait. That's 14 frames now? That was 16. I could have sworn that was 16 before. Yo, bro, did they buff this? Or am I tweaking? Because I could have swore this was 16. I guess not. The point I'm trying to make is that a lot of characters are not going to allow you to do things. Like, for example, if I were to do this, and then this, you're guaranteed not gonna be able to do anything. And, like, before, this was an option, but they obviously nerfed this. So if I did this into this, you just lost. Like, you got launched, you died. So it was a chain of events where you could not do a thing. So it makes sense for them to be nerfing all the fast, like, E-dash launchers, right? Because, like, again, in the sequence I showed you, assuming that I either, A, get the move off in time because it's a tight window because it's 14 frame versus 14 frame. All right, like it's a tight window only because I'm bad. Where you're plus, like, after this move, you're plus 3, and like Devil Jin's plus on block moves, quote unquote, aren't even that good, right? And if I'm like, okay. All his plus on block moves force crouch. So this is plus 3, this is the best I'm gonna get. And keep in mind, I've done mids. All I've done is mids, so he's stand blocking. I could always at any point just do that. So like a pure, and I mean a pure sequence of just four fucking button presses or five button presses of this into this to this into this into this, or like you can do this into this into this into this, right, into this, and that's five moments where if you do the wrong thing you die, and I just have the advantage. And like I don't even have to spend my heat there at the end. I could just keep fucking doing stuff. And it's on you as the defender to figure the fuck out what the right thing to do is when there's no answer, like when there's no like clear pattern or path. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, okay, well, what do I do? What do I do here? Like how do I actually engage with this? And that was the situation we were all in. Like this taking all of your heats means you only get one of them, means like big combo and then it's over. But I might as well just use the other one. On top of like this not having it. Demon Paw fucking still like launches, but on Devil Jin, not many people fuck with it. Like which one the controller? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just use second controller. Alright, cool. I just used the second controller. So like I just find it like inherently interesting. I find it inherently interesting to even begin to think about pretty much like all the changes that could be happening. All right, cool. I don't know. I just if this is the direction they want to go in, it's the correct direction. Like don't get me wrong. I'm saying I was phrasing it as if they were diverging from the path we asked them to take. So this patch is indeed the first step in that direction. Right. I'm not gonna say the right direction, wrong direction, because like truthfully, there was no direction that was right or wrong, unless like because when you say the step in the right direction, what does that mean? A step in the proper direction. There's no proper direction. You can do whatever the fuck you want. People did like the game. Some people didn't. I didn't like the game. Tons of people didn't like the game. All right. There's 2D players who probably think this game would be sick. But the thing is, they had Tekken player base, and they're doing stupid shit all the time. Where like all they had to do, in my opinion, is make the fast 12 frame heat dashes either like safe is like troublesome. Safe is like power level still pretty high. If they made them punishable, like minus 12, minus like yeah, that minus 12, minus 13 for off heat dashes if you're wrong. So like if you're using heat dash, you're doing it as a call out, right? So if they were like, yeah, minus 9, your turn's fully over, you cannot do a thing, or minus 10, like, hey, in exchange for having a launching like not 12 because that shouldn't be allowed, a launching 14 frame move, you have to spend this resource, and if you're wrong while spending this resource, you're minus 10 at the very fucking least, right? And in that case, if you're minus 10, get punished. And like the problem is the risk reward of, hey, if I do this on them, I get 100 damage. On like they take 100 damage, and if I'm wrong and they block it, I take what, a 10 frame punish. Like it has to be a hefty enough thing that you just don't heat dash on. Like certain moves can be safe, right? But I think if they wanted to make the game, I don't say more in line. They wanted to make the game less fucking barbaric and less aggravating. Definitely making heat dashes unsafe. I mean, making heat dashes either unsafe or safe depending on what they can and can't do, right? There should be no fucking like launching 12 frames, no launching 13s. There should be launching 14 frame heat dashes because you're spending the resource for it, right? And then you should still take a punishment or give up your entire turn if you're wrong off the heat dash, and that's the cost. That's the cost. While all the other fast ones can be used cheaply and safely, the 14 frame ones should come at a cost of either your life, right, or some hefty punish. Truthfully, so far those are the only changes that I've seen them make is to the effects of heat, like the rewards you get off of those, and we're gonna continue to watch and see. But until then, I'm gonna be a Guilty Gear Strive learning how to play that game because they've definitely lost all of my trust. 3 years, by the way. The game is been out for 2 years. We're in year 3, and they took fucking 2 years to try to figure this shit out, bro. Like, what were they doing for the last year? And that's why you can't trust them. Why is their marketing department and their fucking like actual dev team so out of whack? Why did it take so long for them to release changes in the direction we wanted? Because remember, there's no such thing as right or wrong, right? When it comes to like what is the right game, what is the wrong game. But there is not listening to your player base, and that is wrong. So if we all woke up one day, we say, yeah, we want this to be a fucking 2D fighter. We want mashing. We want uneven risk reward. We want fucking unfair matchups. I'm talking about like 9-1. Like, I genuinely do believe that like that sort of stuff is up to the player base. And the player base was just not happy. So, had to pack it up. Had to pack it up. And I personally think, personal thoughts, heat dashes should not be fucking +5. All heat dashes should be brought down to +1, right? It's either, if they're going to be plus, they have to be +1. And if you're going to go with my idea where they're allowed to be launching heat dashes at like 14 frames only, they gotta be fucking like not positive at all. They gotta be not even neutral. But you cannot be fucking neutral. In fact, if you're all heat dashes that are safe on block, right, have to be -6 or more. They have to be -6 or more. You don't die, but yeah, your turn's over. Yeah, you guess wrong, but like, at least the opponent gets to take their turn back fully, and like they just are confident to press, right? You don't get to like bullshit them, right? Because what it comes down to, in my opinion, is the fact that you guessed. You had a free guess. You had a free fuck it. Let's see what happened button, where you didn't have to think when using it. You shouldn't be rewarded for playing like an idiot. You shouldn't be rewarded for blindly guessing, and then when you didn't get punished, like if you are not gonna get punished for doing the wrong move or not having a correct read, then you shouldn't be fucking rewarded for it either. You should just be neutral. You should be neutral in the sense of like you're -6, not neutral in the sense of like actually being neutral. But of course, that's just my thoughts. It's just a game theory. Yeah, fuck this game though. GG's.